Welcome back to the Wiki tutorial video series. My name is Tom Albani with Biostat Global Consulting. In this video, we describe the Wiki Control Program and begin our discussion on how users can further tailor Wiki to suit their needs. As we've discussed before, Wiki is a series of programs working in concert to quickly and consistently allow those conducting coverage surveys to assess performance and identify areas of concern. Wiki includes a library of more than 200 individual Stata programs, but the user interacts primarily with a single control program, a do file that we call the Wiki Control Program. In a typical analysis, you copy a control program template, modify it for your purposes, and run it. There are different templates for routine immunization versus SIA versus tetanus protection at birth surveys. Be sure to start with the correct template so it will guide you to enter the appropriate parameters. Regardless of whether you are analyzing an RI, SIA, or TT survey, the Wiki Control Program consists of 7 blocks of Stata code, each of which has a unique function. These blocks are labeled as Block A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. The function of each block is described in the following table. Users may modify the code in blocks B, D, and F. They do not modify code in the other blocks. Block A initializes Stata and clears out any of the old data, programs, and macros which may be present from prior Stata runs. This block will not be modified by the user, as noted in the upper right-hand corner of the block title. The second block, Block B, is the first block which users will modify when preparing a run for Wiki. This block lists where input folders containing Wiki-compatible data is located, as well as the folder where all output should be placed. These folders are specified by the user. The name for this analysis is also specified here. It is best practice to make the name short but descriptive. Block C of the Wiki Control Program is not modified by the user. It contains commands to open the log file for the Wiki run and populate it with some useful information. Block D of the Wiki Control Program lists the datasets and metadata that are particular to the survey. This block is where users will customize Wiki the most in order to meet the parameters of their analysis. Conceptually, Block D holds metadata that describe the survey, such as what were the age eligibility criteria, did the survey workers look for vaccination records at health centers, and did the interviewers record finger marks as evidence of SIA vaccination, metadata that describes the vaccination schedule, for example, minimum age for each dose and the minimum duration between valid doses, as well as metadata that describes the output that the user wants to see from this Wiki run. For example, which doses are we analyzing? Which types of output should be produced and saved? Are we making tables, figures, or both? Which levels of geographic or administrative strata should be summarized in this run? Should the results be stratified by demographic variables, for example, rural versus urban or male versus female, in addition to being stratified by geographic or administrative regions? See the forthcoming series of short videos devoted specifically to Block D for additional detail on what to specify here and how. The next block in the control program, Block E, will pre-process the survey data and prepare to calculate indicators. Block E checks for the consistency and completeness of what you specify in Block D. The steps here somewhat differ for RI, tetanus, and SIA surveys, so be sure you are working with the correct control program template for the kind of survey you are analyzing. Block F is the last block that users will modify when preparing a Wiki run. This block sets up a counter which is useful for those users who may be planning on repeat analyses with differing parameters. It is usually set to 1, but can be modified as a way of tracking a sequence of Wiki runs. Block F consists mostly of a sequence of many blocks of code, one for each indicator that you wish to calculate. For each indicator, you specify a title that will appear at the top of the Excel worksheet of results, and an optional subtitle, as well as any footnotes that you want to appear below the results. Some indicators have one or more input parameters that are specified here. For instance, RI coverage 03 summarizes the proportion of respondents who are fully vaccinated. Before doing the calculations, Vicky needs to know precisely which doses you are including in your definition of fully vaccinated. Is it truly all of the doses in the national schedule, or will you exclude some of the newer doses from the definition? If the indicator has additional inputs, specify them here and then call the program that calculates the indicator. Each and every indicator is described in the Vicky User's Guide. To learn which indicators have additional inputs and what are the valid set of values for those inputs, refer to the appropriate section in the User's Guide. With regards to titles and footnotes, at this time, the user does not have the ability to change the titles and notes on plots generated within a Vicky run. The titles and footnotes that you specify here will appear in the Excel output tables. In the future, we expect to add flexible control for the text that appears on the plots as well. In the meantime, if you want to customize or replace the default text on Vicky plots, post a question on the Vicky Users group on the TechNet21 website, and we can help you. Also, watch for a future video that will address how to annotate or alter Vicky plots. The final block in the control program is the cleanup block. This block is not modified by the user and simply runs the program that cleans up the log file, deletes any files that the user has not indicated that they wish to keep, and prints the Vicky billboard on the command console screen, as well as indicates whether Vicky encountered any errors while running. To sum up, Vicky is a complex library of 200 plus new state-up commands, but you, the user, only need to interact with one program, the control program. You copy a control program template, fill in the details from your survey and your analysis options, and Vicky does the rest. For each particular survey that you work on, you will likely run several different analyses using different input parameters or stratifying the outcomes in different ways. In our experience, you need to invest some time, maybe 20 to 30 minutes, in customizing the first control program for a particular survey. This is when you modify Block D to describe the survey and vaccination schedule and the list of doses from your survey. Each analysis should be run in a separate output folder, and you should use a separate control program. But once you have configured all the inputs for your first run, you can copy that control program and make small, quick changes for the second run, and so on. Again, you change the code in blocks B, D, and F, following the examples in the template program and user's guide. As always, if this video was helpful, leave a comment or question on its page on the Vicky Users Group website. See the link below. If you haven't done so already, join the Vicky Users Group at the TechNet21 website, also by following the links below.